Adventures in Mortuary Archaeology and Commemoration. It's Archaeodeath.
So hello everybody, welcome to my live for 45,000 followers, and I wanted to jump on here at no notice whatsoever and to say hello and to say welcome to my Archaeodeath channel. If you're new or you're a follower already, hello. Grogu wants to say hello. He's very grateful we've got 45,000 followers. I don't know what it means. It's a massive number. It's brilliant. Thank you. People are interested in the archaeology of death and memory, heritage aspects, random site visits to museums and archaeological ancient monuments, and various other debates I've been getting into. Hi, Runemeister Chris. Hello, good to see you on here. And I thought I'd just jump on at no notice whatsoever, just to have a chat and to. Oh yeah, Runemeister Chris. I hope your streaming thing, you got your key sorted. I hope it went okay today. I missed that, sorry, but I hope it's all right. What I was going to say was, yeah, I just thought I'd jump on and say hi to anyone that wanted to sort of say hi back and join in for a little conversation. And yeah, you know what, last time I did a live was 43k followers to celebrate that, and I've got another 2,000 followers in about a week and a half, so that's lovely. And yeah, hello. Yeah, scroll away, I don't mind, scroll back, come back anytime. I'm just going to be sitting here. I've got some wine in my replica sort of Rhenish early medieval glass vessel, Little's Finest, a red, hailed from somewhere overseas, and it tastes of wine, so that's my cultivated palate. Will include that. So I'm boozing on lives. I'm sure that's against the rules, and I just want to talk about anything that people want to ask me about, really. I'm going to be, obviously I'm an archaeologist. I specialise in death and memory, in early medieval archaeology. I've been doing videos about Stoke Museum, the Potteries Museum. I've got a few more coming out about that. I've been to Liverpool and been doing sorts of videos about monuments and the museum there. I've been doing some castles in North East Wales videos. Just had a video on the Witcher, blood origins and the cremation scene, linked to a blog post I've done. Got a lot of posts about Viking tats and face paint. People get very exercised about personal appearance, body modification videos, don't they? So people are really excited about the idea of whether Vikings had tattoos and whether Vikings had face tattoos and whether Vikings had face paint, and whether the TV show Vikings is accurate in representing those. Yeah, and that has followed into a whole series of videos I've done on TV shows such as Vikings Valhalla, what they get right, what they get wrong, what they get silly. And we even did a little deep dive into the National Museum of Copenhagen controversy in 2019. So we did some stuff there. Hello people. Hello, nice to see you. Somebody calm at last. No drama. Me. I am going to do some faux TikTok live dramas where I'll just be shouting at the camera at something that someone hasn't actually said and go, the thing is, you can't handle the truth. You can't handle it. And then people will follow you, won't they? And they'll wonder what the anger is about. I could even do one of these long, ponderous lives where I sort of say, well, the thing about these people is they don't get this and they don't get that, and of course the microaggressions and the harm they're causing, and then I never actually reveal who it is until you're sitting there going, oh, something's happening, some tea is being spilt, some beef, and then you'll never find out. And I'm talking about the Bronze Age or something, but it'll seem like there's some actually exciting happening, so I might just do that, but no, there's no drama here. It's all nice and calm, it's all nice and relaxed. And yeah, what's the other thing I've been talking about? Oh yeah, UCU strikes. You don't want to hear about that, I've already talked about that. But yeah, any questions, any comments, anyone that wants to join me and have a natter? My dad was an archaeologist. Kyle Leon at Newport, says Juzzy Wuzzy. He helped excavate the Newport ship. Oh my word. I am not worthy. Was it at the Newport, University College Newport back then? Yeah. Oh, fantastic. I'd love to know his name. I knew Ray Howell there, and I knew Miranda Aldhouse Green when she was there, and even Josh Pollard was there for a while at Newport. And I remember Josh when he was there, when he just looked like a young country gentleman as opposed to a middle-aged country gentleman like he now does. Bless him. I like Josh Pollard. We could always get into the Bronze Age. Yes, I don't know much about the Bronze Age, so I can just make up any old crap, and the people will just go, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about, or they'll go, wow, that's really profound. So Bronze Age is anyone's fair game, really. The Neolithic's too serious and pompous. The Bronze Age, the Iron Age is a bit dull, but the Bronze Age is just fun times for everyone, really, isn't it? So you can always You can always say something about the Bronze Age. Actually, do you know what I can tell you about the Bronze Age? I've been looking at representations. I might do a video about this. I don't know if I will because it's outside of my wheelhouse, which is obviously an Iron Age reference. Outside of my wheelhouse. I was going to do a video about Egved Girl. You know, this famous log coffin from Jutland, from a Bronze Age barrow, the oak coffin with a girl's body in it. It's now in the National Museum in Copenhagen. Because I've been looking at the different ways people have reconstructed her costume. And my favourite Roman emperor, Hadrian, of course. Hadrian's everyone's favourite Roman empire. He's the top of the wall. he's against the wall. He's behind the wall. He's on the wall. He's wally. He's mural. So Hadrian's my favourite emperor. What was I talking about? Oh yes, Egved Girl. Yes, Egved Girl, and the different ways in which young ladies or young girls have been dressed up since the 1920s in the costume that was found in the burial, and some of them are very much of their time, and I thought it'd be a little sort of interesting video to show how Danes have represented their idealised Bronze Age girl, and some of it's a bit ropey, you know. Some of the images of Egved Girl are a little, shall we say, they represent a particular gaze, shall we say, on the female form and on female teenagers. Which maybe I shouldn't go into this territory, but it's certainly a disturbing deep dive because it does represent how, you know, Egypt has mummies. Northern Europe, we have well-preserved Bronze Age burials. We have well-preserved Iron Age burials, the Hochtorf chieftain, the Wieks princess, you know, these kind of celebrities without names. And so I'm interested in seeing how they get portrayed in museums and so on. So I might do a video about that. You visited Egved a few weeks ago. Oh wow. Okay, well I haven't seen it in 20 years. I just have this vague remembrances of going to the wonderful National Museum in Copenhagen and seeing the amazing finds there and just being blown away, of course. But equally, there's so many great objects packed into a small space, you kind of get a bit blasé after a while. But, you know, so I might do a video about that. And I've got other videos. I still keep meaning to do the archaeology of Third Age Middle Earth, which I'm going to get onto. I promise I will do some videos on that. I've got more coming on I've got a video I'm going to do on, linked to a blog post on the Detectorist Christmas special. But I'm going to answer some more questions because I see you've actually got some questions for me. Apart from your dad was an archaeologist, I'm very pleased about that. I am amazing. Thank you very much. This is true. I've now accepted the reality that everyone sees that I am obviously almost like a normal mortal, but with that extra tinge of awesomeness, you know. I'm joking. I'm a nano celebrity now, so I'm allowed to say stupid things. Nano celebrity is like a couple of tiers lower than micro celebrity. Think Ant-Man getting ever smaller, and I get into that niche territory in the quantum realm where, you know, that's my type of territory. Okay, I'm sort of like Ant-Man but without the humour. Anyway, I was going to answer some of your questions because I did see there were some questions here, so let's see what we've got. I've answered my favourite Roman emperor, it's Hadrian's, because the wall obviously. Would I go on Time Team? No, I don't think I'd go on Time Team, Sally B. Time Team is for people that look slightly more wholesome and are slightly more coherent and less rambly than me, and you have to wear a kind of jumper, you have to have a particular style. You have to point at maps or argue in this kind of faux banter way. Well, I thought you said it was over there. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's all so funny. Here we are outside. I could do more of a Harry Hill than Time Team. Oh, look, here we are doing a bit of archaeology. Oh, I don't know. No, I don't know. I don't think Time Team would suit me. I think it's a mutual decision, a mutual best interest. I was never invited on Time Team. I think I'm best off. There's some good and great communicators on Time Team. That's what I'm saying, and they're much more slick and professional than I am. I'm sort of dirty, sort of, you know, sort of B list or Z list Time Team. Time Team reject territory is me, really. But do you think the hypersexualization will lead to the downfall of America? Love how enthusiastic. Well, of course. I'll just agree with that. I have no idea what that comment means. But yes, hypersexualization leads to the downfall. Look what happened to the Romans. They all got syphilis. A volcano blew up, and all the civilization turned to ruins. That's what happened, and it was all down to sex. Too much sex. So yeah, I think sexualization is definitely going to lead to the downfall of America. Hang on, hasn't the downfall of America already happened? I don't know. Anyway, So yes, in answer, I mean, I have no clue, but I'll just say yes. I'll actually consult with Grogu. Do you think sexualization of it? Grogu says yes. Yeah. Do you think? There you are. Follow the host. Thank you. Hey, Prof. I wondered if you'd ask advice. My focus is on forensic anthro, but all the bioanthros, that's one of two, I talk to get weirded out and confused. What's that about? What have you done to weird them out? So you focus on forensic anthropology, but all the bioanthropologists you talk to get weirded out and confused. Well, what are you telling them that's freaking mad? It takes a lot to freak out bioarchaeologists. They usually can take everything. They're used to seeing corpses and skeletons and all sorts of talk about the horrible diseases people get in the human past. So I don't know what you've done, Alice, to freak them out. I'm going to ask you that question back to see if you can respond and give me a damn good idea how you've managed to freak out bioarchaeologists, who I thought are the most unfreak-outable people in the archaeological community. So that's a question back at you, Alice. What have you been doing, as long as it doesn't get us banned off this app? What have you been doing to freak out the bio folk? Yeah, I could do more on museum representation than the Bosty Witch's mama says I should, so I will. That's good. Talk about a randy lot. Oh yes, oh yeah, the Romans. Yeah, they're up. Couldn't get enough of it. Those lot, go into. I think everyone, every time archaeologists talk about Romans and their habits, including this new find, or this is not a new find, but the Vindolanda wooden object that may have been a toy, people go into sort of 1970s speak. It's really funny. British archaeologists are funny this way. It's almost like, hang on one second, just got to make sure the door's shut. Archaeologists go back to sort of 1970s, sort of carry on archaeology with, look at that, it's like a sort of Sidney James laugh, Brian Bezo, what are they doing, Sid? It turns into this kind of territory. It's really funny to see it happen, because every other period and time, when you see ancient historians talk about, practices that people got up to in, say, the 5th or 6th century BC in Greece, or when you hear anthropologists talk about what people get up to in Amazonia, they're perfectly lucid, perfectly calm. It's just about what people do. But you talk of British archaeologists, we are still, when we talk about certain subjects, we do sort of regress about 60 years back to this, oh, cheeky, sort of time, or maybe it's the media do it, I don't know. But I'm going to blame archaeologists for that. So yeah, we can blame the Romans themselves, but I think we also have to blame something about the way we talk about certain subjects. It does turn a bit, oh, hello, sort of this sort of Carry On Doctor type era, sort of Leslie Phillips, and then the sort of later, more sort of 70s sort of Carry On with the sort of Sid James, Carry On Camping, Carry On Behind, with Kenneth Williams and his prehistoric erections. Oh, anyway, hi, I'm a Cestrian and wondered what your fave historical place in Chester is. Mark, that is a fantastic question, because everyone loves Chester, and there's so many beautiful historic sites in it, and I've done TikToks about Chester. It's obviously Roman legionary fortress, Dark Age, early medieval Anglo-Saxon town, Burr, for Ethelflaed and Burr. And of course then you have the later medieval city and the castle, the cathedral, Benedictine Abbey then becomes post-Reformation cathedral, packed with archaeology. What's my favourite bit of archaeology? What is my favourite bit of archaeology of Chester? The easy, I mean, I have to say, because it's unique, yeah, there's Roman forts and towns are 10 a penny. We get them everywhere across the empire, Saxon Minster churches, Benedictine abbeys. Don't we all have them? I suppose the one thing I would say is particularly exceptional about Chester is the Minerva Shrine in Hanbridge, which is one of our only open-air surviving Roman shrines in a Roman quarry, where you have a representation still surviving of the goddess Minerva, still to be seen, and it is unique and special. And so I will say the Minerva Shrine. And if you search TikTok for Archaeodeath Minerva, you'll find my videos on the Minerva Shrine, because they've got a new heritage interpretation panel funded by the Heritage Lottery Fund, or whatever it's now called. So you actually, the Minerva Shrine is everyone knows about it, and yet somehow it's kind of neglected, and it's really sort of fragile, and it's unique. So I suppose I don't know if it's my favourite, but it's the one thing about Chester that you can't find anywhere else in the UK. It has, yeah, amphitheatre's great, but there's other amphitheatres, you know, there's so many other things that are great about Chester that you can find versions of elsewhere. All I'm saying is that the Minerva Shrine is pretty tasty and pretty unique. And it's not carry on archaeology. It's all she's dressed, she's got her owl on the shoulder, she's got a spear and a shield, she's got a helmet. There's no sort of carry on fnar type stuff going on there. It's very respectable Roman archaeology, I would say. I just have to say that, it's not all saucy details, Phillips was his name. Oh right, Ray Phillips. I didn't know. Oh, I didn't know about. Oh, you still got his trowel on your bookcase. Oh, that's a wonderful thing to have still. Oh, I don't know the name off the top of my head, I must admit, but thank you for sharing that. Roman dietary taboos. Sorry, mate, I don't know. Will A asked me about those. I know nothing about Roman dietary taboos, apart from they ate hedgehogs and hamsters and guinea pigs and all sorts. No, not guinea pigs, they didn't have guinea pigs. They ate all sorts of things. Dormice, that's the one I was thinking of. And they ate something that we would find disgusting. And they're raw, garum and all this kind of gross stuff. So I don't know if did they have any dietary taboos? I don't know. I don't think they did they? They just ate anything that moved and anything that didn't move. Just they shagged anything that didn't move or did move, and they ate anything that did and didn't move, and probably at the same time. So I don't know if the Romans had dietary taboos, or if they do, someone's going to have to educate me about them, because I don't know anything about that. Will there be a panel at Leeds AMC for awesome TikTok influencers? Thank you, I don't know how to say your name, Quoth Erd Stapper, that's a good name. Will there be a panel at Leeds? I have a confession to make. I am not going to Leeds. I don't like Leeds. I have a bit of an issue with Leeds since 2019. So I will be. I'm a medievalist, but I don't go to Leeds as a conference. I can go. I could do a whole TikTok or two about that. Why I don't go to Leeds, but they can. So I won't. If there is one on there, I won't be doing it. I know that. Dr. Pardon is doing one at Kalamazoo for TikTok medievalists, and I think that's a great idea, or has done one. Maybe it's already happened. No, I think it's coming up this April. But I think there should be more conference sessions about TikToking, but also there should be more TikToks about TikToking, as it were, in terms of academic TikToking. But Leeds is not my bag at the moment. I've gone off them. Last time I went was 2018. And I've been to Leeds about 6-7 times in 25 years. Seven times in 25 years. Good big conference, but I'm not conferencing since the pandemic, to be honest with you. I've got TikTok. Why would I need to leave my house? This is my world. This is my life. I've got Grogu, man. Who needs friends? I've got you guys. I don't need anyone else. Oh, Fable's here. Hello, Fable. I'm hilarious. Well, you've been doing Maria from the North has been doing some wonderful supportive comments on my videos. Thank you very much, Marie. So not Maria. Marie from the North. Another Swede, and she knows I've been to Sweden. Know how it's ridiculous that some of the Jim Lingfield art may actually look like it as it is. Yeah, we appreciate that. I could do my own TV show, actually. Yes, I think we should have our own TV show, archaeology on TV. I think that would be good. I could do my own. I thought me and Archaeo Wolf should do a touring program where we just waltz around and shout random things at heritage boards and people and tell people pseudo archaeologists off. We should do like a ancient alien apocalypse Netflix show, but where we go to the exact same sites and we actually explain what the archaeology tells us, rather than and talk to the local communities and indigenous people and other archaeologists that aren't old white men. Maybe we shouldn't be in the TV show, but my point is, we are the Bone Daddies. We should be doing our own TV double act, I think. Yeah. Favourite pharaoh? Favourite pharaoh? I don't know any pharaohs. I mean, I know any pharaohs, but I don't know enough about ancient Egypt to do a favourite pharaoh Thorolf. I mean, they're all just it's all too long ago, really. So I'll answer with a no. Which pharaohs have I seen in terms of seeing their mummies? I've seen quite a few mummies in the British Museum and elsewhere, but pharaohs, I don't know. I don't know enough about Egyptology to have a favourite pharaoh. They're all a bit wankers, weren't they, really? They did a study of the strontium level of Egvid girl's teeth that indicated she was an IMMY. She was an IMMY? Oh, an immigrant, I bet you mean. Oh, an immigrant, yes. Actually, do you know what, Craft of the Past? They've done another study that's countered that. So Egvid girl has had two isotope studies that contradict each other, and a debate piece by Sophie Bergerbrandt, from a Swedish archaeologist, who's argued that neither of them are right, and that she actually probably came from Rogaland in Norway or from Sweden. But the first isotope study on Egtvig Girl suggested she came from the Black Forest area of southwest Germany. Then the new study, that was in 2015, then the new study in 2019 said no, she came from the local area, Weiler, sort of in central Jutland. Is central Jutland or southern Jutland, or that area anyway? That, and then the most recent discussion point I've seen by Sophia Bergerbrandt is that Ekvig probably came from Norway or Sweden. So who cares? I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting to show how people latch onto the strontium isotope data, but then also how this, people, these stories are changing. They're ever developing. So, I thought that was a serious comment. The real paranormals. Thank you for that. Dropping that's top troll humour there for funerary archaeologists. Thank you, man. But I'll read it out just in case people don't know what I'm talking about. Just before my uncle died, we covered his back in lard. After that, he went downhill quickly. Oh, thank you for that. Thank you. That cheered me up. That cheered up my evening. Okay, so we're back to Alice. Right, Alice is freaking out bioarcs, but why? I asked her, and she's come back with more comments. Yeah, like I've been looking for a mentor, and I say forensic anthropology, and they go, no, we do bio. And I'm like, it's the same. Well, I think, well, you obviously know your stuff. I'm not going to tell you otherwise. But I think most people think forensics as in crime scene investigation, as in forensic means within the legal process, whereas they may think that's not what you want. If they're bioarchaeologists who are investigating, say, ancient diseases, paleopathology, or they're interested in looking at population demographics, or they're looking at funerary archaeology, they think actually bio includes animal remains too, doesn't it? Because bioarchaeology is the umbrella term for zooarchaeology and human osteology. Then they may think something different. So maybe it's a miscommunication, and that they do what you do, or they do what you think they do, or you do what you want to do, what they want you to do, or you want to do what they think you should do, or could do, or what would do, but you don't know that you want to do what they want to do, that you do, but they do. So maybe it's about too much do-dos and not enough shooby-doo. But whatever it is, I would say that as a funerary archaeologist, I work with a bioarchaeologist. I work with Dr. Amy Gray-Jones. She is a trained-up osteologist. She worked for the Museum of London, looking at medieval hospital cemeteries. She works on the Mesolithic, looking at skeletal material and, hunter-gatherer fisher populations of northwest Europe and how they dealt with the dead before the advent of farming in northwest Europe. So she deals with all that crazy shit in prehistory. And, she obviously does supervise funerary archaeology and bioarchaeology students. But forensic archaeology, I would see as more crime scene modern investigation, genocides, clandestine burials, all that kind of grim stuff where the flesh is still hanging off it, which is not my kind of bag. I like the bones to be clean, thank you very much. I don't deal with any of this gory stuff. I'll leave that to the weirdos. So I'll leave that to you. But so I don't know, maybe it's cross purposes, too much doobie-doobie-doo, or whatever I said. Frankie Howard. Oh, yes, exactly. We're on to Frankie Howard. There's loads of comments here. I'm probably way behind now already. I know it's not exactly the same, but forensics is a subfield. Yeah, I mean, depends what you want to do. Dormice soaked in milk and honey. That sounds almost tempting. I should do some videos. I should do some culinary videos on TikTok, shouldn't I? Here's a dormouse that I prepared earlier. And then no, that's cruel. I don't want to do that type of thing. Spill tea about Leeds. Okay, well, I can tell you a little bit about Leeds. Leeds is an international conference. Medievalists are an interdisciplinary field of many different subdisciplines, and I have managed to piss off so many people in medieval studies in the last 5-6 years, and have real serious run-ins with people. And also, I have a serious ethical concerns about post-COVID these conferences, whether they should actually be running at all. So I think there's a number of different things. There's a pandemic, and whether these conferences are doing what they should be doing. Are these big conferences, have they utility anymore in a post-pandemic world? Are they safe? Are they secure? Are they healthy? And also, are they ethical? Because there's been so much so much antagonism and argumentation in arguments in medieval studies. I'm wondering whether we're ethically setting up particularly younger students for career breaking confrontations if we continue to have these big conferences where drama is happening at them. So I've sort of stepped back because I don't want to be part of any of that shit, whether it's in medieval Tolkien studies or Chaucer and all these kind of interactions, because most of these big conferences seem to be about people going to the conferences and then tweeting about how shit everyone is and how horrible the situation is. And I don't want to be part of that. I mean, some of it I don't want to be part of because people might be aiming it at me, some of it because it might be aimed at other people. But I think there's a big ethical issue about big conferences that and also there's some people on the Leeds committee that I think have been really quite obnoxious towards me, and I don't want to give their conference and their any support. So they've been really horrible actually, and very personal and abusive towards me over the last few years. So I don't need Leeds, and Leeds doesn't need me. So for the moment I'm steering clear of it, but maybe I'll change my mind in the future. It's just a big conference. It's the big conference drama. Yeah, I mean, in 2019, I did call out their choice of panel and their choice of, and that really pissed off a lot of American and Canadian medievalists because I dared to challenge the sacrosanct, the holy of holies of their lovies and their celebrities, and they didn't like it at all. That's as far as I can go, really. Yeah, Red Star 28, 9, 11, he knows I'm the nano influencer, not just a nano influencer, the nano influencer. You recognise it, I know it, we're on the same page, it's good. Oh, you're flying in to do a lecture in person at Leeds? Paper on Anglo-Saxon trauma and literature. Well, that's bloody interesting, actually. There's a lot of good stuff at Leeds, and I think if I can talk about the benefits of big conferences is you can randomly, after literally days of going through the massive conference, online or physical, if they still do it physical program, and then you suddenly realise, an hour before, oh God, there's a really good paper on Anglo-Saxon trauma and literature I want to go and see. And you do find things that just you wouldn't otherwise go and see. So it's not the university in the city, of course. It's a wonderful place. I love Leeds for its museum and also for St Peter's Church, which has the Wayland sculpture from the Viking Age. So that's always good. But I think I've got to the point. Luna's studying archaeology at the moment. Yay! I think the point is, for me, these conferences are, a lot of people put a lot of serious effort into them, and I think they can detract from actual research and networking that can happen more constructively at smaller conferences, workshops and elsewhere. Okay, we've got more jokes coming. Okay, my dad died in a paint factory. He fell off the roof into a vat of gloss. A paint factory, sorry. He fell off the roof into a vat. He had a lovely finish. Come on, keep coming with these Archaeodeath jokes. Come on. My uncle died in a paint factory. He fell off the roof into a vat of gloss. He had a lovely finish. This is what I'm here for. Thank you. You're cheering up my evening. Thank you, Jared. That's really good. Sorry, what's her name again? I'd like to look her up. Who's that? I don't know who that refers to. Sorry. Academic process with different fields, many different similarities. Yeah. Fingerless gloves. Shit, where are my fingerless gloves? I need to put my fingerless gloves on. My fans will not be happy. Yeah. Okay, you're right. I've got to get this. If I'm going live, I need to get my shit together, don't I? Mikey needs my fingerless gloves. There you are. My fingerless gloves, which apparently make me look like a ninja to some people, or just a twat to other people, but I don't care. It keeps me warm, so I can't have sleeves up and fingerless gloves, but I've gone fingerless gloves. Are you happy now? There they are, okay? Fingerless gloves, they exist. I've got wine and fingerless gloves. What other questions do I answer? We need more collaboration, less controversy. Yeah, I mean, I think the problem is that everyone's everyone else's enemy in the social media world, and I think we see that on TikTok, we see that on Twitter especially, which is a hellscape of all hellscapes. Even before Musk let back in all the nutters that he let out. I mean, honestly. But anyway, it was already horrible. People can't say, I remember the good old days when Twitter was nice. What, when? What, one week in 2013 or something? Come on. It's horrible. And I think people, set you up as and contrive outrage in a way that, is just outrageous. So I actually find TikTok much better. People are really nice on TikTok. I mean, I did come into disagreements with people, but did you spark out David Starkey? David Starkey, I've been in the same room as David Starkey on 2 occasions, and neither occasion did I commit violence against the man. But no, he doesn't. I just want to say, I've never got into a fight at a conference or anything. I've been usually quite nice to people, and people who are really nasty to you on social media, if you go up to them and shake their hands, they usually okay. And even if they go, oh God, I just shook his hand, now I realise he's the devil incarnate that did that whole 70 tweet Twitter thread about why I hate everything he's ever published, and now I've been nice to him. Damn. But you know what I mean? It's people are generally, nice. But no, I haven't done anything with or to David Starkey, but I have been in the same room as David Starkey twice, and let's just say it wasn't his presence didn't lighten up the events in any way that was positive. Of course that was even before he went even more mad than he did. I mean, the kind of last time I heard about David Starkey was when he was ranting about kind of, what was it? I mean, just everything. I can't even remember. It was about rap music has destroyed the world, wasn't it, or something? I can't remember. He went downhill and then off piste so quickly. He's like, like on skis, sliding off a precipice, and I haven't paid attention to him since, really. Historian, hi. There's a lot of people saying hello. It's great to see you. Thank you, God. Yes, there you are. I'm glad you're happy now. I've got the gloves. So I've got a question for you, says Drauga Videliga. I don't know how to say that. Sabrina says, what's your my daughter 6 is allowed to watch your videos with me. Oh, good. Yes, I don't do anything too unseemly. I'm 6-year-old friendly on the whole. Occasional swear words, but nothing too gratuitous. I may say Roman once or too many times, but that they can't help that. But yes, I'm glad, Sabrina. Thank you for telling me. That's really good to hear that I'm your 6-year-old likes my videos, the places I go, the things we do. Hopefully it'll be of interest. David Starkey is an exception. I think I do have a problem. If I can talk about I don't want to talk about David Starkey specifically, but I do have a problem. I'm joking about being a nano influencer, but I really have a problem with celebrity historians and celebrity archaeologists. Not because I think they're bad people, but because I think if we invest too much time and energy in singular individuals, they become a thing, don't they? They take over. They become So, I actually really like. I'm a mutual on Twitter with Alice Roberts, and I don't agree with her views on religion, for example, but I agree with her on many things, and she seems like a lovely person. But I don't really want to be, I don't think we rely too much on Alice Roberts, And then, of course, the other great disappointment is Neil Oliver, who, people saw it long coming, but he's gone so far off into the world of GB News, everyone's kind of more than embarrassed by him. And this is the problem, isn't it? Is celebrities do go weird. You finally find out what their horrible views are on issues like, and I think that is, we see that on TikTok too, don't we? If we put too much investment and time in a 2-3 million following person and you like a few of their videos and then you find out, oh my God, then I find out their views. And so I think, it's not just the David Starkeys. There's plenty of other celebrity historians and archaeologists you think, I really enjoyed their content. They're great communicators, but now I've seen 15 programs by them and now we know all about their views on, corporal punishment or, people from other countries, and perhaps it's all a bit awkward. So yeah, I think we should be careful of investing too much in celebrity TV historians and archaeologists and TikTok versions thereof. Conference fights are real, someone says. Well, I did see a kerfuffle once at a conference between a Glaswegian and a Sheffield-based archaeologist who got into a as one stormed out of a room, that's as close. I was a student at the time, back in the halcyon days of the 1990s in Sheffield, where I don't know what even I'm talking about now. The halcyon days of the 1990s. I remember a kerfuffle, and I have seen sort of stand-ups. I have to take you to task. There was one conference I went to where two leading Danish professors, female professors, got into a massive kerfuffle and argument verbally about some issue about what constituted a sacrificial offering in the Iron Age or some shit, and they went off and had coffee argument during the coffee break, and then the chair came back. It was a hilarious moment. Said, "I have to tell you, I'm going to do. Sorry, forgive me, Danes. I'm going to try and do a sort of generic Scandinavian voice. I have to tell you that Lotta and Charlotta have had a talk, and they have a lot in common, and they are friends again." And everyone went, "Oh, that's wonderful." It's like, and I was just sitting there going, "Who cares?" So whatever, one more fight. I've also seen a few fights in the bars after archaeology conferences, but let's not go into that. I've heard that grave finds with lead white paint and coal, with the lead white in a vulva grave. Okay, I haven't heard about the lead white, actually. I'll have to look that up. I'd like to learn more about that. That'd be really interesting, because I've been saying that the lead white paint that Lingfield and others have been using was a kind of made up shit. But if there is some evidence for that, I'd love to learn about that. I'm happy to be wrong if there's evidence that people can evoke, but I didn't know about that. But we certainly have the one historical reference for a visitor to Hedeby saying people are putting dark paint around the eyes. What's my favourite? Ella asked, what's my favourite historical period? Well, of course, the 5th, 6th centuries CE. The early Anglo-Saxon period, where shit hits the fan in northwest Europe and southern Scandinavia, where everything goes to the dark ages. Things weren't that dark, but equally it's a fascinating period of transformation and change, and the Western Roman Empire going off piste. Yeah, so that's my favourite period. Yeah, people like Diamond as well. Yes, Alice is saying yes. I'm so over the Neil Oliver stuff, says Ella. Well done. We all have to go over it. Hello, Wright and Rune. Hello, how are you? That's great to see you. Peter Corliss. Oh, yes, hello, Peter. Lots of people are responding to each other, so I don't think these are comments for me. Pot historians are always celebrate colonisation as a win. Ella's right. That's one of hard no. She says that's one of my problems with the big name narratives and the TV narratives, that they tend to go to big story. Now, whether it's even if they're not ancient apocalypse, pseudo archaeology grifters, even if they're talking about actual ancient civilizations, what they end up doing is talking that grand narrative. Here I am in khaki, waltzing around Egypt, and it is hyper-colonial. TV archaeology, is Indiana Jones. Even if they don't dress up, there's a few losers who do that kind of dressing up stuff, but even if they don't, they're still living that dream of late 19th, early 20th century colonial project. Let's talk about other people around the world, and it's cringe. It's really, even in its most, reconstructed, decolonized versions, it's still cringe because they're doing that grand narrative. Yes, Ella, I totally agree with you on that. That's absolutely true. Paul McCann 707 says, I've started recreating a woven band recently found in Iceland. Do you know much about the find? I'm a bit out of my Icelandic textiles, mate. I'm sorry, I don't know. There's a really good paper in Medieval Archaeology from a few years ago about some rich textile remains in an Icelandic female grave, but I haven't got I can't off the top of my head reel off all the evidence for you. Gosh, there's loads of questions here. Am I catching up or not? What do you think of the name sub-Roman Britain for that period? Hi, that auntie. Lovely to see you. Nice to see you again. What do I think of the name sub? Can I answer this question from Peter? This is a really good question. Sub-Roman Britain sucks as a term. Yeah, I mean, all of the thing about my period of specialism, which is actually before the Viking Age, it's what migration period, sub-Roman, Dark Age. In Britain, early Anglo-Saxon. In Western Britain, early Christian. all of the terms suck. All of the terms are horrible, laden with ethnic, religious, cultural baggage of relative decline and neglect. So all of these terms are bullshit. And so I would say sub-Roman Britain, it's in there, it's out there. But the first class I always do with my students about the 5th, 6th century is all the terms suck. So don't think you can get away with it. Unless you talk about centuries and or parts of centuries, you know, all of the terms suck. So sub-Roman Britain suggests this is something at the end of Roman Britain. It's after Roman Britain. And it's sort of determined by Roman Britain. So I don't like that term. Okay, I'm going to make a note about the Mad Realm says there is a lead paint find, so I shall look that up. Thank you. I didn't know about that, to be honest with you. So but it's frustrating that people haven't actually told me about this before when I've done quite a few videos saying. But even so, I still stand by my point about a lot of these reconstructions are taking our evidence in a direction which is problematic. But thank you for telling me this, and I will try and look that up. Thank you. Where's your scarf? There's my scarf. It's not cold enough for my scarf, but here's my Doctor Who scarf, which I reserve for Doctor Who lives with the Rebel Rabbi. But it's there. It's not far away. It's just lurking in the background, together with my Day of the Dead baseball cap, which I got, which is ironic, which I got in Arizona airport. And I thought that's a cheesy souvenir. I've been to Arizona. I should get a cheesy airport souvenir, and I'll get one with a death skull on it because, you know, other people just see it as grotesque cultural appropriation, but I'll do it with a tongue-in-cheek irony of going, oh, you know, I do death. So what's your module like at your university? I do lots of modules. Hello, that person doesn't have a name, they have a smiley face. Hello, what's your module like at university? Okay, so I teach undergraduate, I teach first years on the archaeology of the British Isles and Northwest Europe. I teach them on debates in world archaeology, looking at, you know, everything from the history of archaeology, the politics of archaeology. I also teach second years a course on contemporary archaeologies of the 20th and 21st century, everything from conflict archaeology to the archaeology of post-industrial landscapes, death and burial in the modern age, all sorts of cool stuff we do. We do field trips where we wander around council estates and cemeteries. It's great fun. We never get arrested, but we get weird looks. I also do a module on Vikings in the third year, and I also do master's teaching on death and memory. I have an MA Archaeology of Death and Memory. So I do mortuary archaeology, what we can tell about the remains of the dead, you know, all sorts of fun stuff. So I get to teach the best subjects at the best place. So I really love my job, despite having to go on strike because we're all getting paid shittier and shittier, but I still love it, and it's good. Lots of comments here. My comment was for you. Milkshake duck equals social celebrity you find out is problematic. Oh, I'm going to make note of all these terms. Milkshake duck, because people come up with these terms on social media. I'm an oldie, and all you young uns out there, Peter looks as definitely younger than I am. You know, you all have these terms ready for you. The best term, can I actually share with you the best internet term that I've been presented with in the last couple of weeks? Okay, wait for this one. Snow tap. I think it's snow tap. I think it was snow tap, or was it snow hotep? I think it was snow tap. I don't know if you all know what this is, but the Urban Dictionary says, yeah, snowtep, here we are. So a snowtep is the opposite of a hotep and has extremely Eurocentric views, falsely claiming any advancement in history was done by more ancient Aryans and that they were descended from aliens. Snowteps are often times neo-Nazis or white nationalists. Well-known retard. Now, I encounter quite a lot of snow taps online, on Twitter occasionally and on TikTok, and some people clearly don't know their snow taps. And I suppose all white Europeans have a bit of snow tepian about themselves, but we all try to keep it in check, don't we? But I think snow tep is my word I'm going to use more in future. And when someone turns up in my comments being a bit nationalist, xenophobic, anti-Semitic or whatever, I'm gonna deploy the snowtep word because it's simple, short, and it does the job. The Fear Cat grave. Okay, well I know about the Fear Cat grave, and I will double check the evidence for the Fear Cat grave. Thank you, the Mad Realm, and about the evidence of white paint and how it was used. Thank you. Yes, Wrighton runes confirmed the same. Now, the Fearcat grave is one of the seers' graves, where it's a female with a staff and a whole load of other shit. I can't remember the full catalogue, but I will roll that back and look up and double check what we know about that as far as I can. And if I don't find it myself, I will do a video about it, and I will consult the experts who know about it. So I know all the archaeologists that know more than me, you know, and I'm happy to admit there's things I miss. Hi, Ian. Good to see you. No, my point remains. It's not so much the fact that people may have put stuff on their faces, but it's about the aesthetic of how it's played out, isn't it? And how that gets used and abused online, where people are taking this as physical evidence of how people actually dressed. You know, it's inference. You know, everything we do is inference. I wish you could. Oh, hello, Nonny. Yes, hello. Good to see you. Yes, and well, I wish I could do classes online, and my university should do them, shouldn't they? Maybe I should set up one of these Patreons, and then half of my TikToks will be droning on about, make sure you check out my Patreon or something like that. What I really need is a Jackson Crawford hat and a setting, and I go, hi, I'm Howard Williams, and then check my tier 17 Patreons. And then a list of all these people that supported me. No, I'm only teasing. Jackson's great, but equally, I should go down that route some point, shouldn't I? I should go down there. I'm slowly catching up with comments. Alice, you're doing great. If you're finishing your undergraduate and you've been through the pandemic, you're doing brilliant. My students have been doing fab. They're waiting on marks that are delayed because I haven't had a chance to mark because of the strikes. That they're really. If you're a third year undergraduate archaeology, history, or any other subject student at the moment, you're literally titans. You're heroes as you've got through the pandemic. You bear the scars, mental and physical, of the pandemic. You are doing brilliant, Alice, as are all of you. I'm very proud of my undergraduates of the last few years, and particularly this year. I think people have forgotten. They're the forgotten generation. They've been through the pandemic, and people forget about it. Oh, the Mad Realm loves my Chester videos. Thank you, Mad Realm. Appreciate that. Thank you. My friend did your third year Viking archaeology module and really enjoyed it. Oh, well, phew. Well, I'm glad. I was sort of started reading that out, and I hadn't got to the end, and I realised that could have gone wrong. I'm glad they enjoyed it. Yes, that module's really fun, and I try to give the students a lot of freedom to explore things outside of the core curriculum, and I'm glad they enjoyed it. I've caught up with the snow tap. EJ's confused, and she's 20, or they're 20, or he's 20, I don't know. But they thank you. You've been doing some great support for me in the comments on videos. Thank you, EJ. 10 says, hello, Professor. Hello. Yes, enjoyed your one about the museums. I saw your video earlier today. You're doing great work, 10, with all your videos. I love your style, and really good stuff. If you taught mortuary archaeology on Patreon, I'd join in a heartbeat. That sounds rad. Okay, well, I haven't done a Patreon, but someday. Do I have to wear some scanty clothing to be on Patreon, or is that the other one? I'm joking. No one wants to see that. That helps to think. Thank you very much for encouragement. Yeah, and Salty S1 is here. Hello, who got banned recently for just being honest, and she got mass reported and banned. She's back for the 17th time. She will never be cast aside. Salty S1 will rise again. Oh, you're going to be graduating with your PhD, 10. Well, good luck with all of that. I look forward to hear more about your PhD, or if you have done videos, to, you know, hear the updates on them, on your PhD. Good luck with all that. Fantastic. Does anyone want to come online? I don't know. I haven't even looked at. I get confused by this whole live thing. Does any archaeology people want to join in and ask me or anyone want to have a chat about anything that's archaeology related? Just as salty as ever says, yes, you are. I'm sure you will be, and you should be, because that's what you need to do. Your Peter's own specialist is 5th, 6th century. Oh, you do Arthurian stuff. Oh, that's fantastic. get getting confused about this app and various, how to sort out the various dynamics of it all, you know. I think I've got our theories. I mean, sort of Western British stuff is really interesting. I do obviously a bit later on. Jamestown. Yeah, I think I should do those live. There's a historian on TikTok who does lives from ancient monuments in Wales, and I keep going, that's wrong. Oh no, but you know what I mean. I should do live at actual archaeological sites maybe, rather than sitting in my room. Oh, the old question about grave robbing and beginning archaeology. So many ways to answer that one, caffeine deprived medic. I suppose the point I would say is that there's no chronological, it's about professional and ethical practice of archaeology is, and the questions you're asking. Grave robbing is not interested in the context and preserving it and identifying it. Archaeologists are using a battery of methods, techniques and research questions to interrogate the graves of the dead, and we only do so when it's possible. So that's the simple answer. It's not about when it becomes, it's about how it becomes and why it becomes. As a standard question. And of course, yes, Alice has come up with another way of answering it. It always kind of is. You know, all kind of excavation, disturbing of the dead is a kind of grave robbery in the sense that it's intervention, it's destruction. But of course, we only do it in the direst of need. Sounds like a Denethor, actually. So only at the last. Green Knight Publishing. Oh, right, Peter. Well done. Oh, right. Fantastic. Oh, that would be fantastic, going live at other sites. I might do something, but the problem is the signal in Wales is always so shit, you know, because these archaeological sites are in the middle of nowhere. That's one of the things that I would always find a problem with. But yes, I think Ten's right. Archaeology sites would be good. Oh, Ian would like to hear about my strike efforts. You know, look, we're in a really weird space at the moment with the strike. Actually, we are. We've done 6 days of striking. We paused the strikes for 2 weeks of intense negotiations, and the union is splitting apart. The left of the union is blaming our general secretary for failing to negotiate hard enough and striking long enough, and the middle and right of the union, if there is such a thing, are waiting to hear what the actual negotiations result in. So we're in a bit of a limbo at the moment, Ian. It's a bit of a frustrating situation. We know we've got concessions on casualisation, workload, and disability, gender and race pay gaps, but we don't know how substantial they are, and the pay offer is pitiful, but it's at least better than it was. But you know, it's exhausting and depressing and stressful, and I'm absolutely shattered by it all. Just knowing it's happening is stressful. We want to get on with our jobs rather, and yeah, you know how it is. But we're lucky in some ways. Oh, studying military history. Yeah, I mean, I think the point is you don't dig up the dead unless you absolutely have to, especially the war graves. You know, it's not something we would do unless, you know, that someone's putting in a new supermarket car park or something, and you know the aims are going to be destroyed anyway. Ancient combat iconography is cool, 10. We all want to learn more about that. Well, that's lots of really fun questions, and I've loved having a chat. I'm just wondering if there's any more questions for me. I've done a quick ramble through loads of stuff. I've still got a bit of wine left, and Grogu is looking like he wants to say something. No, he just wants to join in. He's a bit neglected in the corner there. So we'll have a bit of a Grogu on site. So we're waiting. I'm going back teaching tomorrow morning. I'm going on a field trip tomorrow with my students, my master students, 9 a.m. So we're going to the Vale of Llangollen to look at some archaeological sites, some heritage sites. Advice on giving first academic lecture. wing it. Don't over prepare. That'd be my advice on your first academic lecture. Don't bullshit, but talk in a normal way with minimal tech, with minimal preparation. Because what I've found in my academic career is the more I prepare, the less the students listen. The better the lecture, the better the materials, but the students quickly get bored. I am intense, I speak quickly, I never apologise for that. I keep the pace going fast, fast, fast. They don't pick it all up. They don't sit and write down everything I say. I don't give a shit about that. But I'm not doing this slow, paceful, patronising lecture style. Sometimes I chill out, but most of the time it's fast, it's debate, it's random segue. But over preparation, over structured, students can sniff. They can smell the fear, and they can smell your over preparedness, your over management of their time. And I think they find it more annoying than if you just chill out, but keep it fast pace and just share your enthusiasm and your ideas. So my advice is don't over prepare. You'll always have more stuff than you can get through. Always have extra slides, but have it as the back, and they can always look at it online. The resources are online. There's so much backup resources. I sometimes say, hey, here's a TikTok I did that goes through the next bit, so there's always other resources. I even use my blog, my WordPress blog. I say, well, I've talked through 2 sites, then you can go and read about another 3 on my blog, and here's 3 or 4 academic research articles, and da da da. So I always say, when you're lecturing, I mean, don't make, as I said, don't make stuff up. Don't be honest about what you don't know. Most students respect that. They don't expect you to know everything, but they expect you to be able to guide them when you don't know things. Like when these individuals earlier here on this app said the Fearcat grave. I haven't done any extra research for my TikToks. I could have gone back to the Fearcat grave, and now someone's prompted me. I'll go and look at that up and see if it adapts anything I said. I haven't got the time. I'm not spending hours preparing TikToks. I'm sometimes doing research, especially for TikToks, but the same with lectures. If there's something you miss, go and do some extra reading afterwards, share with the students afterwards. It's much easier than it was in the days of acetates and slides. And I think over preparing can be actually distracting for students. I give them lots of images, I give them lots of ideas, but I often just if they ask a question that I didn't expect, we stop, we go off, and we do a random 5-10 minutes discussing that issue. So once I did a lecture where the funeral of the reburial of Richard III happened the day before, and I said, did everyone watch it? And they went, no. I said, well, we're stopping the class. We're going to spend an hour looking at the BBC, funeral of Richard III's body, reburial at Leicester Cathedral of his remains that have been excavated by archaeology. Because it was such a phenomenal moment. We had to, I think, the class has to stop. We were going to discuss this, and this. Now we're going to watch on YouTube or whatever it was the highlights of the funeral of Richard III, the reburial. So you have to adapt. Don't be over structured. And the more more that academics and administrators want to turn us into sort of like drones who do lesson plans like teachers, and the more they want to sort of stifle that sort of randomness, that the more actually it creates boring academic content. So yeah, I think first lecture, don't over prepare. First project I volunteered on was the First World War POW camp. Oh, well, that sounds good, AJ. That sounds fantastic. Also, have you found any signs of human kindness, like the family in Pompeii that were one of 2, protecting each other from the blast of the ash? Well, obviously, disaster moments like Pompeii are a focus of my interest, but not. Most of the burial evidence that I study is acts of care. The very fact that there's a choice to dig a hole or dig a grave, structures, clothing, artifacts, all of the funerary process is acts of care and kindness to the dead. So in many ways, almost all of my data that I study is, outside of disaster scenarios where people are hastily buried because circumstances allow no other time or option. Almost everything I study is about care for the dead, and and acts of kindness, and sometimes the careful placing of minor objects such as flowers, coins, combs are clearly dialogues with the dead between individuals. They're not just grand funerals where, oh, we must bury the holy comb. No, they are about personal gestures. So yeah, a lot of the evidence I look at when dealing with the cremated dead in the 5th, 6th century, for example, which is my PhD research, is about acts of care. Burning the dead is an act of care. Collecting the ashes, putting them in a pot, burying them with selected objects that may tell something of the story of the dead. So maybe not as dramatic as Pompeii, but I think there's many examples like that. The other aspect of care that I'm particularly exercised with is the lack of care that we show for the ancient dead, both in poor excavations but also in the way we laugh and mock the dead online. And I'm sometimes vocal about, I have to be very careful, but I get very angry and upset when I see people selling human remains online, but also about the way people mock and laugh at the ancient dead online, because just because it was a long time ago shouldn't mean we should stop affording them respect. And when I see, you mentioned Pompeii, so this brings to mind that Spiritual Squirrel Vox, who's on here recently, brought to my attention people still joking as of the 2017 meme of the masturbating Pompeii person who isn't. It's nothing of the kind, but it was a meme from 2017, and people are still thinking it's funny. And I think not only is it immature, not only is it inaccurate, but it's also grotesque. And to mock people from the posture that was caused by being superheated and being suffocated by super hot pyroclastic flow, and seeing that as funny, pretty sicko stuff. But I try not to. I don't do videos about some of the things that really upset me online. I don't do videos about them because they're just too grotesque. And some people on TikTok are real slime, and and I just can't deal with it. So I actually just don't do videos about stuff like that. But yeah, so the care in terms of the archaeological record, we see acts of care in the archaeological record all the time of people caring for the dead, dealing with the dead, transporting the dead, placing the dead, postures and treatments, objects placed with the dead. But then we also see the lack of care we have for those remains in the way we film ongoing excavations. Anna Chitwood, who's on here, is great content creator, archaeology student. She called out this National Geographic video where they had, was it American Civil War? No, it was American War of Independence, American Revolution, whatever the correct term is, burials being excavated. The National Geographic film crew were videoing it, and she said, this is unethical. And I said, yes, it is unethical. But then there's also people making jokes about the dead, and I think that's really gross. I'm not saying we should always be somber and, everything's funny. We've got to make jokes about everything, including death. But I think you can do jokes about death without going, oh, here's a child skeleton who got, who in the 5th century BC was crushed by a falling rock or something. Ha ha! That would have given them a headache or something. It's not even funny. I just made that example up. I haven't heard. I'm just saying that kind of stuff is just. Yeah, it's for clicks and it's for clout, and it's horrible. Have a conversation we don't talk about. What's best book you've read recently? Do you know Peapod? Oh, hi Peapod. Thank you. Yes, I haven't read a lot recently. I confess I've been so busy writing and editing my own stuff. I hardly read anything from cover to cover. I'm really bad at reading books. So what best book I've read recently, and most things I read I get annoyed by or frustrated by. So I'm trying to think if I've had. So I'll skip that question because I don't know. I'll go to Dinas Brand, Peter. I'm behind. Yes, I'm just catching up with people. Have you ever met Stephen L. Lithigland? No, I haven't. Thank you, Small Tank in Big Fish. Bone setting is... Yeah. Good point about bone setting. Yeah, I mean, there's past disrespect when people ate mummies and use mummies as fertiliser and stuff. But then there's, we should be beyond that, but there are still things that are going on. I mean, it's only in the last few years I've seen British Archaeology Digs use promotional video of their students excavating skeletons to sell their degrees, and things like that really get to me as well. I mean, yes, we have promo shots of our students in the lab, but going, hi, near me digging a skeleton, come to X university. Oh, cringe. Really bad. Yeah, it does anger me. I mean, as I said, I don't mind jokes when you know the context is a joke, right? So I don't go roving on the internet to try and pick up outrage and stoke outrage, sort of outrage farming going. But I see things that I think, well, I give them a way out. I think, did they think about this? Okay, maybe they didn't. And I don't want to. I don't want to go there. I don't want to get into it. So yeah, it does upset me. I mean, it should upset us all. But I think some people have no filter and no sense of self-respect, or let alone respect for their audiences online. And I think we all have to have ethical standards in what we do. Yes, I make silly jokes. Yes, I do swear. Yes, I get into arguments with people because I think these things matter. And I sometimes piss off people who I think are on my side and my followers. I'm not here to please everybody. But equally, some of the arguments are not worth having. I get too angry about them. No, but there's lots of good things. Lots of good things going on. Lots of positives that we can take out from archaeology and the way we share things online. There's lots of really positive creators and there's very few things. I don't have to go around looking for things to get annoyed about. There's so much good things to talk about and discuss. Do you know what I think? Because I've got to get up in the morning and take a field trip out at 9 a.m. I'm gonna shoot off if that's all right. But I really appreciate you sharing some time with me and for oh, hello, Catherine McPhee. Hello. I was just going to go because I've been on for an hour and a part. It was an impromptu live. I wasn't planning to do it, and but thank you for 45,000. That was the point. 45,000 followers. Yay! And if you don't follow me already, why the hell not? And thank you, Alistair. Thank you, and everyone. Really good comments. Really good questions. I've got a little bit of wine to finish. Grogu says good night. Good night. I don't know what the fuck that was. Anyway, don't matter. Anyway, and yeah, have a good one. Get through this week. The weekend's coming. Yeah, it's only 4 days away. Take care. All right. Bye now.
For relaxing times, make it Archaeodeath time.